Hello, my name is Lobster and today I'm going to be showing you how to summon custom mobs in Minecraft Java Edition. Let's get into the video. Alright, so first things first, I want to show you a couple tags that you can add to all your mobs to change how they interact very significantly. Honestly, these will affect them a lot. And if you don't want to see this part, I'm going to leave a timestamp on the screen for you to skip to. But for those of you who want to see this, which I'd recommend to, just stay through the video for now. Alright, so for those of you who want to stay for this, I'm going to go through these pretty quickly, but I'm still going to give an explanation of what each one of these does, because I feel that these are the most important parts of summoning a mob that you can have. And these can go in pretty much every single mob. So this first one right here is no AI. So basically when you summon a mob, it will have no gravity, no AI, and it's literally not going to do anything. In cases of blazes, they literally won't even take rain damage. That's how far this one goes. And to do this, all you have to do is add no AI 1 to the end of any summon command that you want. So next up we have persistence. So this is essentially the same as adding a name tag onto a mob, and it doesn't change how the mob interacts at all. But if we were to fly away a couple hundred blocks and fly back, you'll notice that the mob without persistence required, the no AI one, doesn't have that tag, has despawned, but this one has not. So if you have a mob that you really don't want to despawn, this is really important to add onto it. So this is how you do it. Next up we have glowing. So this is pretty self-explanatory. Glowing mobs just spawn with glowing. There's not really much else to it, except that this effect will never go away on glowing mobs. So if you add glowing onto an entity, it'll be glowing forever. And this glowing tag right here, this is how you add this permanent glowing effect to a mob. Alright, so next we have on fire. Similar to glowing, this is just a permanent visual effect. The mob will look like it's always on fire, won't always take damage from it, but essentially it's just always going to look like it's just on fire. And that's pretty much all there is to this one. And here's how you would add it. Okay, now we have invulnerable. So essentially invulnerable mobs will only be able to take damage from players in creative mode. So as you notice, I am currently in creative mode. I have access to the creative inventory. I can damage this mob. When I go into survival mode, it won't even let me hit the mob. I can't even put the crit particles on it. And there's literally nothing I can do against this guy. And here's how you'd add this to a mob. Next up we have no gravity. So this kind of bugs mobs out a little bit because it makes it so that they can't move except by moving their head. So if you notice, when I switch to adventure mode, it's not going to start trying to walk towards me. When you hit it, it'll like slide back sort of, which is kind of interesting. It can still hit you, they can still damage you, but as long as they have this tag, they're not going to be able to be subject to fall damage or falling in general. And here's how you'd add it to a mob. And finally we have silent. So as you notice with all the other mobs, they should have been making noise, but this is the only mob so far that has not made any noise. So essentially silent just mutes a mob. It's really, really simple. Doesn't even make any damage sounds or death sound effects. And here's how you add it to a mob. Alright, so now we're going to get into the more complex parts of summoning a mob. So for this, we're going to need to switch over to whatever browser you use. And essentially we're using a command block generator. I'm going to link this in the description. And I'm going to show you how to use this so that you can summon mobs that you want. So on the top here, there's 5 different tabs. So first off, when you're summoning something, you can make a command block for it, which is the most consistent way to do it. Through my experience, when I've done spawn egg and spawner, it usually bugs out a little bit. Next we have the import tag. Basically you can import a command in here to fill out some of these segments in each one of these bottom tabs. So if you have a command that you want to edit or something, just copy paste it over here. And settings. So this is just a couple of settings. Now let's get into the actual mob. So this one right here, this first tab, is the actual mob that you're spawning in. Any mob specific tags that they might have. So in the case of a zombie, can break doors is a tag specific to only zombies, husks, and zombie villagers. But if you notice, if I switch to witch, for example, it doesn't have any of these special tags. And stuff like a turtle might have has egg or home positions or whatever. And each mob is going to have its own special tags for that. So next up we have the properties tab. So this is basically a tab for all the stuff I showed earlier, and it sort of explains what they are really quickly. There's also a name section. So let's say we want to name our zombie Fred, and we want to color his name dark green. Color his name dark green, and show his name. So now if we summon this zombie, it'll summon a zombie that's custom name is Fred, and you can see his name like through walls and everything. You don't have to be facing him to show it. And then these here, I don't recommend using these if this is your first time using commands, unless you want to just mess around with it, find out what all these mean. But basically motion is going to be the motion of the mob. So like, let's say if you give the motion, like the mob a motion of 1 on the Y, when you summon it, it's going to be launched in the Y direction. Rotation is the rotation of the mob. Tilt, I believe, is a tilt of the head. So rotation is going to be the body rotation, and the tilt is going to be where's the head looking. Active effects. So essentially you can also add active effects to your mob. So let's say I want my zombie to have jump boost for a duration of 30 seconds when it spawns. So since this is in ticks, each second is 20 ticks. So we're going to multiply the number of seconds, which I want is 30, times the number of ticks in each second, which is 20, and I have 600 ticks for that. So now if we put 600 in here, this is going to last for 30 seconds. And the amplifier, if you put amplifier 0, that's level 1, amplifier 1 is level 2, amplifier 2 is level 3. So here we go. And then default for this, for all effects that you put on this mob, is particles off. So if you flick this, the particles are on. If you flick this, they're ambient particles. Let's make it so the particles are on. Then this is only for specific mobs again, so raid mobs that'd be vindicators, witches, all that stuff. Tameable mobs would be like wolves, cats, and breedable mobs would be like pigs, cows, and all that. And then items. So this is the part where it gets fun. You can add whatever items that you want to your mob. So let's just say I want my mob to have full netherite with a netherite sword. So we're gonna just give that to him. And I have some of these already like in autocomplete because I use this website a lot for command generation. It's honestly, I think it's probably the best one for summoning mobs and giving items and all this stuff. And let's say I want my netherite sword to be unbreakable and all the armor to be unbreakable. Again, this is stuff I'm auto-completing because I use this website a lot. The more you use it, you'll be able to summon these mobs quicker, but this is so much quicker than typing it out. And let's say the count for each of the items is going to be 1 because I don't think more than 1 will break it. And let's make the drop chance 10% for everything. Now, if we go into attributes, this is stuff like the base armor of the mob, knockback resistance of the mob, speed of the mob, but regardless, I'm not going to be messing with those for this specific tutorial, but you can mess with these as much as you want. It's pretty fun to see how it would change certain. Anyways, we've gotten through all of this command stuff. So if we summon this mob, we'll have a zombie that's named Fred with jump boost 2 for 30 seconds and full netherite armor that's unbreakable and has a 10% drop rate. So let's copy this command. So you're gonna just select the entire thing. Control C if you're on a Windows and Command C if you're on a Mac. And then all you have to do is place the command block, open it, Control V if you're on a Windows and Command V if you're on a Mac to paste the command. You paste it in here. Your command block should be on impulse, put it on always active, and then your mob spawns in. And as you can see, we have Fred here, who is a full netherite zombie with a custom name. And if we kill him, we'll see that sometimes when we kill this specific Fred zombie, it will drop its loot. So you can see that case we got netherite boots. But as you can see, sometimes it will actually drop an item, and you can customize those drop chances however you want. And there is one more thing I want to show off, which is just how to find certain tags for mobs. Each mob, if you go to their wiki page, your mobs will always have a data values tab. So if you go into the data values and you click entity data, you'll notice that there is a couple tags on here. First off, there's tags common to all entities, which is stuff you can add to any mob. And this is basically just a quick way to see what tags you can add to it. So for example, glowing from earlier, if you put glowing 1, which is the same as true, since it's true, the entity has a glowing outline. So pretty simple. And if you go into tags, come into all mobs, you got extra stuff here that you can look at. There's so much stuff here, which it just goes way more in depth than the command block website that I showed you. It's so much information, you can make like whatever you want with this. So just a quick little tip. And again, I'll link both these websites in the description. And with that, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.